Hi everyone, Greeno here and welcome to another episode here on Greeno Eats. Or should I say Daddy Pig here? That's what the Greenager calls me when I wear this jumper. I'm here at Morrisons in Weymouth today. Now, I've been here a couple of times over the last few months. I had their ultimate breakfast, which was actually pretty good, and I came and had a Sunday roast beef dinner, which really wasn't very good. So, what am I doing here today? Well, I remembered when I was doing the ultimate breakfast, there was actually an ultimate fish and chips on the menu as well, which I think is fish chips and mushy peas for £7. So I think I'm going to go in and give that a try today. Go on. So I found myself a table and I'm going to utilise the QR code to actually make an order here. So let's see what we've got. Choose a store. I guess it's going to tell me where I am. Weymouth, there we go. Eat in. And now I can pick what I want to eat. So I'm after a main meal here. And there's a whole list of them on here. And there's what we're looking for. The ultimate fish and chips for £7. So there we go, we get an option there, whether we want to pick baked beans, mushy peas or garden peas, or no peas at all. I think we're going to go with mushy peas, don't you? It sounds like the best option to me. And then would I like to add anything to my ultimate fish and chips? 2 slices of bread and butter. Yeah, go on, why not? We'll add that to the order, and I'll stick a cup of tea on there as well, I reckon. And so there we go, there's the total order. We've got the ultimate fish and chips with mushy peas, bread and butter to go with it, and a tea. Comes in at a total of £9.80. So that's a little bit less than I paid in Swanage recently for a small fish and chips just with mushy peas and no drink. That was from a chippy mind. So that whole process was pretty easy. Just go onto the apps, well, scan the QR code to get into the little screen where you put your order in. Very, very easy to find everything, really easy to have a navigate menu, and you can pay on the old Google Pay, so job done. Really simple. Just got to wait for them to bring the food over now and we'll see how it is. I'm looking forward to this. There we go, the first item has made its way here. We have the tea. I guess we just let that stew down for a minute, and then we'll pour ourselves a nice cuppa to go with the fish and chips. Yum, yum. Right folks, so my lunch has now arrived, and here it is. We have the fish, chips and mushy peas. Quite a big piece of fish there, I'm sure you'll agree. We also have a couple of slices of bread and butter, as promised. Quite nice sort of farmhouse style, but obviously just from a bog standard kind of supermarket loaf, probably from in here in Morrisons, of course. There's a couple of sachets there of tartar sauce. Little packet of salt and some chip shop style vinegar to go on top. So take a closer look. So this certainly does look like a half decent sized piece of fish, doesn't it? Maybe not the thickest piece, but I mean it's hanging off both sides of the plate there. Mushy peas served in a little bowl there. They're certainly not luminous. They do look a little bit kind of beige though, so we'll have to wait and see on those. The chips, well, they look like oven chips to me, or just very, very basic kind of fried chips. See if you can see that up close or not. But yeah, we'll take a closer look at them in a minute. The bread and butter is come pre-buttered, but it does look like proper butter rather than any margarine type product. And of course, we've already got the cup of tea on the go, haven't we? Time to tuck in, I reckon. Okay, first things first, let's get some salt and vinegar on there. Now, which way round do you do this? Do you salt first, then vinegar, or vinegar first, then salt? Vinegar first, then salt for me. So we'll give that a little go over there. I will put a little bit on the fish, not too much. We don't want to make the batter too soggy. So we got a bit of that going on there. We have some salt here in the little packets. Quite a nice little serving. You get in one of those, should just about be enough with one packet of that, I reckon. Maybe not even needing all of it. There we go. Actually, one thing I will do, put a little bit of vinegar on the old mushy peas. That does make a little bit of a difference to them. We'll get that mixed in a little bit. And we also have, like I said before, these little sachets of tartar sauce. Tartar sauce obviously is the classic accompaniment for fish and chips. So I think we're going to use both of these quite comfortably. Nice and easy ones to open by the looks of it, these ones, he says, as he now can't open the second one very easily. There we go. Get that onto the plate there. Now, like I said, this fish is quite a nice big piece, isn't it? This is their ultimate fish and chips, of course, so you expect them to give you an half-decent piece of fish. I think as a plate of food for £7, it doesn't look too bad, does it? The chips possibly leave a little bit to be desired, but we'll try them now. So like I say, they're just obviously out, like frozen ones out of a bag. They're all very uniform thickness. As you can see there. Yeah, just a bog standard kind of oven chip. Nothing special about them at all. They're not even that hot, not that crispy, not brilliant. But, I mean, you're not expecting chip shop chips in a supermarket necessarily, are you? So they just kind of are what they are. Let's try these mushy peas now. I'm going to give them a little mix up, because obviously I've put a little bit of salt on there and a little bit of vinegar. There we go. Get a nice forkful of that. Take a look at this. Now, you see what I mean about the colour? It's not very green, is it? Kind of very pale green. What's the flavour like? It's not bad. Not the most flavoursome mushy peas I've ever had, but they're not unpleasant. They're really okay. Again, we'll perhaps add a little bit more vinegar into there. It does really help bring the flavour alive with a little bit of vinegar. Obviously I didn't put quite enough last time. Let's try again now. Here we go. Yeah, that's better. Livened it up a little bit. Not very heavily seasoned at all. So put a little bit of salt on there. You can pick that up. Should have got some black pepper as well, perhaps, but there we are. All right, a little bit of a slurp of the old Rosie Lee. And we'll move on to this fish. So, I'm going to cut it just about there in the sort of thickest part so that we can take a closer look inside. There we go. So you can see it's nice and hot and steamy. The batter is pretty crispy on it. And there's nice white flakes of fish in there, isn't there? So, it smells good. It really does smell good, actually. So, let's try a bit. Now, I will preface this by saying I'm not the biggest fan of batter in the world. Quite often, if I go to a fish shop, I will ask them to cook a piece of fish without batter on, just dip it in some flour or something. But this batter doesn't look too thick. It is nice and crispy. Do you know what? That's really pretty good. Now, have a look at these flakes of fish on here. They're nice, big, chunky flakes there. The flavour of the batter is not too greasy. That's my kind of problem that I have with batter generally. Either it's too thick, and so the bit that actually touches the fish isn't cooked properly, or it just gets a bit greasy and a bit oily, and so that becomes a bit off-putting as you get through the meal. But this, so it's quite a nice thin batter. Take another look at this so you can see it. Nice thin and crispy batter, nice golden colour on it, and the taste is great. It really is. I mean, if I was to get this piece of fish like this from a chip shop, I would be more than happy. There you go, have another look at that fish. Piping hot, lovely white flesh. And really tasty. Well, I have to say, out of the chips, the mushy peas, and the fish, I know what the star of the show is. Maybe it was swimming around off the coast of Weymouth not too long ago, who knows? Now, of course, I've got the bread and butter here to go with it. Only one thing to do, really, isn't there? They're going to get a handful of these chips. Like I say, not the best chips in the world, but I reckon for a chip butty, they'll be just fine, won't they? Let's get a bit more of this vinegar. Whack some of that on there. There we go. And then we'll fold it in half. And there we go, folks. There's your classic chip butty. Let's give that a go. Here we go then, folks. So we've got the chips in there, the butter, a bit of salt and vinegar. Yeah, not bad. Pretty good use of those chips. The bread is nice and fresh. This is not something for someone on a low-carb diet. Or any kind of diet, if we're honest. There we go. Now, I've not got any sauce in this chip butty, and it probably would benefit from one. What would you put in the chip butty? You go with ketchup, mayonnaise. Would you use the tartar sauce maybe? You know what I normally have? Salad cream. It is the perfect accompaniment in a chip butty, it really is. It's kind of got that mayonnaise-y feel to it, but with a little hint of vinegar, which really adds to the flavour. So, if I had salad cream here, I'd be using that right now. As it is, it's not bad. The good thing is, there's enough tea in this pot for a second cup. Okay, so I'm done with this meal now. I've left a few of the chips, like I say, they weren't great, and a little bit of the batter from the very end of the fish, but it's only a very, very thin little piece of fish still left in there, as you can see, mostly just batter. So we left that bit, but eating the rest, pretty good too. Anyway, I'm going to finish off the rest of this nice cup of tea, and we'll sum it all up outside. Right then, folks, so let's sum that up. Morrisons Ultimate Fish and Chips. It wasn't bad, in fairness, for a sort of supermarket cafe meal. So we go through it sort of bit by bit. The fish, I think, was the star of the show. It was good. It was clearly kind of hand battered rather than just something that was brought in. I don't know what kind of fish it was. I've been trying to Google and see if it will say anywhere. It doesn't, so you've got to assume it's not going to be cod or haddock, otherwise they would be mentioning that. I'm going to guess it's probably pollock. That seems to be the sort of the white fish substitute for the more expensive ones, but I don't mind that. It tasted absolutely fine. It was nice and white and flaky. Pretty good. The chips, well, they were a disappointment. They were just like a bog standard oven chip. I think even if they'd tried frying them, it would have been better to give you more of a sort of chip flavour. But Yeah, they weren't great. The mushy peas were okay. Not really mushy peas though, in my opinion. It was more like a peas pudding. It was kind of more like a sort of paste. Mushy peas kind of have a bit of more wetness to them, if you know what I mean. But they were okay. Tasted absolutely fine, to be honest. And they went quite nicely in that little chip butty I made. On the subject of the bread, a bit like the breakfast, completely unnecessary. Don't know why I bothered ordering it. I mean, it was nice to make a chip butty, I guess, but yeah, you don't need to order that if you're getting that. It's a big enough plate of food as it is. The cup of tea, well, that was good actually, and it's nice that it came in a sort of pot so that you could make a second cup. It kept it warm, had a nice little pot of milk to go alongside it. Yeah, that was decent, it really was. £1.80 for that too, which I think is a pretty good price for a little pot of tea in a place like this. So, overall, £9.80, unnecessary bread, not great chips, half decent peas, cracking fish. What are we going to give it out of 10? It's probably about a 7, I suppose. Not as good as the breakfast was. Really enjoyed the breakfast I had here. Much better than the roast dinner I had here, that's for sure. That was an abomination. Would I come back and have it again? Do you know what? I mean, if I was in the area and I'm hungry, yeah, I think it was okay. Obviously, I'd have the expectations now not to expect too much from the chips, let's put it that way, but the fish was really tasty. Like I say, not the biggest fan of batter in the world, me, but that was nice. Thin, crisp, not greasy tasting, just nice. Right then folks, so that's going to be it from me for today, and what a glorious day it is down here in Dorset today. We've had rain for weeks, floods everywhere, so it's nice to see a little bit of sunshine. Maybe it will start drying up the ground a little bit. Anyway, if you've enjoyed today's video, don't forget, click a thumbs up on there for me. It does help with the channel. And if you're new around here and you like what you've seen, why not consider clicking the subscribe button, ding your little bell for notifications, and you won't miss out on anything that comes up on the channel. Right, I'm going to go home and look after Pepper and George, seeing as apparently I am Daddy Pig today. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.